to Cornwall Seal Group Research Trust's virtual conference, Sharing Our Seas, Seals and People. We are excited to share an inspirational series of talks exploring a variety of aspects of seal conservation in the UK. And it's our 20th birthday. In that time, we've done 35,000 plus surveys, processed over 1 million photos for 72,000 plus seal IDs. To make sure we can continue this important work, check out our website to join our Wild Seal Supporter Scheme, back our crowdfunding campaign, or shop in our online store. Thank you for your support.
Hi, my name's Sal. I'm a volunteer, coordinator and the founder of a small group called St Mary's Island Wildlife Conservation Society, originally St Mary's Seal Watch. The group came together in 2014 as a response to the ongoing issue of disturbance on our local haul-out and nature reserve. Using the age-old art of persuasion and a determination to make a genuine and positive difference for the wildlife, the group's grown from the bottom up into a grassroots community capable of shaping behaviour and influencing decision-making. Cornwall Seal Group Research Trust, through its advice, support and belief in our little team, has informed who we are and everything we have achieved, for which we're truly grateful. I hope that our work will inspire others to believe in themselves and realise that we can all make a difference. I want to tell you about a community group linked to Cornwall and Cornwall Seal Group Research Trust by a shared species, a shared problem and a shared desire to find a solution. The group is called St Mary's Island Wildlife Conservation Society. I think we all agree that much of the conservation work related to seals concentrates on changing human behaviour. St Mary's Island Wildlife Conservation Society is a small community conservation initiative set up to deal with disturbance on our local nature reserve and grey seal haul-out, and I'd like to tell you a bit about it. The site makes up part of the surrounding area designated a local nature reserve in 1992. And holds habitats for a diverse range of wildlife, including a small but important grey seal haul-out. When visitor pressure allows, the site's truly magnificent natural wonder becomes palpable. But this important habitat is shattered regularly and relentlessly by the occurrence of disturbance caused by human activity. Like many sites, despite its ecological significance, the island has always been considered a place for human recreation, with thousands of visitors attracted to the lighthouse and surrounding shore every year. With little management of this footfall by those responsible for the site, disturbance levels have always been high and seal numbers continuously impacted upon by encroachment from both land and the water. For our site, the issue was, and is, marrying the high visitor number and their expectation of what's acceptable behaviour and the expectations and aspirations of a conservation initiative looking to provide improvements for the local wildlife. Our message of allowing wildlife the space it needs is a simple one. Reducing the opportunity for encroachment by creating and restricting access to an area free of human activity was the first step. Waiting for statutory bodies to bring about change would be a waiting game, and one taking place while the seals and other wildlife on our site suffered these unacceptable levels of disturbance. So we as a community proactively sought solutions ourselves. There has been, and still is, many a time when we feel the task is impossible, with some who come to the reserve refusing to change their ways. But we have seen a taste of something better. So as we've started, we're now obliged to continue. Hoping that most damage was not intentional, but the product of poor management and a lack of information, we understood that raising awareness was the key to any change. We have designed, redesigned and created simple friendly signs and information for visitors with basic seal biology facts and useful tips on how to recognise and prevent disturbance, in the hope that for some, the information will be enough. Signs were and still are placed around the site to encourage visitors to avoid certain parts of the small island, Alongside this, we set about offering an alternative to close-up approach. A well-informed Facebook page, public events and publicity all help to get the message to a wider audience. Education is essential to shape behaviour. Signage and interpretation are useful tools, but they all still rely on a person's goodwill. The single most effective way to raise awareness and change behaviour at a grassroots level is face-to-face contact with those on the site, the ones who you need to buy into the new way of thinking and behaving. We have over the years studied both the grey seal usage of the site and the impact of disturbance, as well as the thinking and behaviour of the many thousands of visitors who come to the site. From early on, this data helped us to understand what measures needed to be put in place. To this day, data recording plays a vital role in shaping management plans and improving the site's conservational value. Early volunteers scrambled across the rocks from dawn till dusk to explain to visitors why this habitat was so important, why the seals were there, the impact of disturbance, and what as visitors they could do to help, encouraging them to enjoy the wildlife from a safe distance. We are now lucky enough to have an area of the reserve which visitors are asked to avoid. Now we place volunteers at strategic points to maximise the interaction between them and visitors, either to provide information about grey seals and other wildlife, or to offer advice on disturbance and how to prevent it. Visitors are asked to admire the wildlife from viewing areas where binoculars and scopes are provided free of charge by the group, offering a close-up experience from a safe distance. As more visitors saw the growing amount of seals able to use the site, more began to buy into the notion of allowing wildlife space to thrive, and a growing sense of pride in the site was had by many. The group still works with and encourages the local authority to step up to not just its responsibility towards the site, but also the growing number of visitors and members of the local community wanting better protection for the wildlife. The site still has major issues in spite of signage and information. When volunteers are not on site, the opportunity for visitors to get up close to the seals increases and wildlife disturbance escalates, and we can feel totally defeated. We have seen a site where seals once instantly flush can now sprawl ungracefully across the intertidal rocks, where the spectacle has become a sight enjoyed by every generation from near and far. Volunteers are still providing information on the wildlife and advice on enjoying it responsibly, offering a very different but extremely positive visitor experience. The influence of St Mary's Island Wildlife Conservation Society can be seen throughout the site, with visitors beginning to adopt a more informed, responsible and considerate appreciation of the reserve. So while we still have problems, there's an increasing amount of visitors who now feel a great sense of pride in the site, and it would appear that for many, asking them to leave wildlife space was not too much to ask. This change is an example of how nature can be protected on a community level, and it shows how quickly a natural habitat can begin to thrive when people simply give it space to do so. It is a result of the hard work and commitment of a community coming together to proactively protect its wildlife. It is testimony to how we can, at a grassroots level, make a difference. And I hope an inspiration that sometimes something can be done, but it may have to start with you. Many thanks for listening, and thank you to Cornwall Seal Group Research Trust for always being there and making so much possible. Thank you.